welcome everybody. My name is Dr. Michael Spencer, and I'm the pastor at His Tabernacle Family Church, and we also run the Empowering Pastors Ministry, which puts tools in your hands to be able to help you be a better, greater, godly leader, to develop your teams and to grow God's kingdom. Today, we've been on a series now. The series that we've been on is the relationship between the senior pastor and different groups within the church, Groups within the church. So today, we have the sound and media department, which, let's be real, without them, we're talking really loud. And you're not going to sound really good as musicians. So this is a very strong and impactful ministry, one that is not usually seen, but there has to be a good, strong working relationship between the pastor over sound and media and the senior pastor to make sure that there is a flow and to make sure that it makes sense and that it sounds good. You know, actually, if your sound is not good, it will drive people away. Not only internally, but also online. So sound plays a massive role in your church's success, as well as the media department. Right now, you're watching Empowering Pastors. You're hearing my voice that's going through the media department. You're seeing my face, which is going to happen through 3 different cameras that are all set up. We have somebody back there, director right now, and he's going to be moving it between each station, as well as somebody monitoring the sound so that it comes through to you well. All of that makes success. So today, if you'll welcome with me, Pastor Kevin Jackson.
Thank you. Is this thing on?
It is on. I can hear it. Thump, thump, thump.
I just thought I'd do that.
So
everybody does that.
The sound people. You know, where are the sound people? Oh, that's right. It's you.
This is
so, I want to start talking about the importance of sound, but if it's just you, that's one thing.
Right.
But to truly grow a team that's going to be successful, the word team is there. So how do you build a team for sound and media? How do you do it? Because it takes unique people.
Yeah, they're pretty unique. I think with sound and media, some of the things that I look for personally to start with, and I taught this to the interns, is the FAT method, right? Faithful, available, teachable, which is...
Oh, say that slower.
Faithful, available, and teachable, which is the FAT method. And faithfulness is faithful to the vision, faithful to the senior pastor, faithful to the church, faithful showing up to church. That's the faithful side of it. Availability is your schedule available to be able to serve on that team when the hours are needed. And then teachability, we all know what that is being able to learn. And if you have those 3 things, then I'm all over looking for that, because here's the thing. If you're faithful and available but not teachable, you're fa. You're not fat. Some of us are fat physically. Some of us need to be fat as in this. So, you know, you're looking for all 3 of those things. If you're faithful to the church and teachable but you're not available, then how can you really serve, right?
Right.
And so each of those things is what I start targeting. When I see somebody, I want to see those 3 things. Now, it doesn't mean that I will exclude them if they have limited availability. It just means that there are 2 that are on there, and the one that I think is extremely important is the teachability factor. And the other part of that is a good character within them. And I can teach you how to run sound, but character is an internal issue and a heart issue. Right. So I can tell you your heart's not in alignment, but can you put your heart into alignment with the Lord, into the vision? Into the vision. Yeah. And so those are the things when I'm looking at somebody, I really want to do the FAT method and then see where their heart's motives are at. And if they kind of check out, it doesn't mean, once again, you're excluded. It just means that those are the first things I look for in somebody. And then from that point on, then we'll, kind of have a meeting with them. I will, in my office mostly, and then talk to them and see where they're at as far as the FAT method, as far as the character issue. And And then skill set, what skills do you bring? Well, I did some digital photography. Oh, that's great. Or I've ran cameras before. Oh, that's great. I did sound at another church. That could be good or bad because there's a lot of bad habits that are taught in a lot of other places. And so, but I can undo a bad habit. I can't undo a bad character.
Right. That's fact. Yeah. That's very good. I want to make sure that everybody understands, too, that we are also not only on Facebook Live, but also on YouTube. And we would love to have you, if you could go and click like and subscribe, that would be appreciative as we're building our page to be able to help and build more people.
Oh, absolutely.
Now, I think, too, some of the questions I would have is, so somebody comes to you, they said, I'd like to help with the media team. And let's say they've touched a soundboard before. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying they're proficient. What do you do with them?
So what we do with them first I want to see kind of where their level is. And I tell everybody that comes on the team, I'm not a mind reader. I don't know where your level is as far as your skill set goes. Some people may come with an enormous amount of skill set. That's great. And some may come with just a little bit. I moved a fader one time,
What would you rather have? Somebody with great skill or someone with low skill that you can train?
Second.
You'd rather have the second?
I would love, because you can teach somebody at that level, if they're teachable, you can teach them the skills and the way that not only you are as a leader, but you are as a tech, and what you've learned over those years. And so...
Now, here's another question before we go too far.
Yeah.
Do they have to have a good ear?
They cannot be deaf. And if you're a lighting person, you cannot be blind. And so you should not be wearing hearing aids and try to run sound. But there's always a place for you on the bus.
Amen.
And that is, hey, you may not be able to hear, but you sure can run the pro presenter. You may not be able to, I don't know, hang on.
No,
let's just keep going.
Let's just keep that there. So walk us through, you have a soundboard. Mm-hmm. You have, so walk me through all the different positions that are in the sound and media. Let's hit sound first, then go to media, all the different positions.
Yeah, so on the sound side, you have the front of house sound, which is the main sound for the main sanctuary. Then you have the live stream sound, which is like broadcast TV. We have that set up like a broadcast TV booth.
So is that the same sound or a completely different sound?
That is a completely different sound, and they run off two separate consoles in the back. One is strictly for the in-house sound, and one is strictly for the online sound. And so those are, and they're two, while the technique and the different things within the sound overlap, like, the physics of sound, the actual mixing is way different for a live setting versus a TV setting.
So let's talk let's say that it's a small church, mm-hmm. just beginning, and they're getting ready to go Facebook Live or YouTube Live. Mm-hmm. Do they have to have a whole separate section, or can they work it off the main body to be able to at least start?
They could start with the main board as long as, and I would caution this, as long as the person that's running the sound in-house has knowledge and has a good ear for the balance. Because if you're taking it from the main front of house board to the live, straight from there to the live stream, it has to be balanced for the live stream too. So whoever's running the front of house has to have a good sense of what makes a great sound.
Okay.
Yeah.
Take us the rest of the way. What else? So is that all the stuff in the sound? That's it, those two things?
Well, there's that, but then you have like your live events, right?
Okay.
So we're doing like, the Grove Park Elmira Fest event. You have children's ministry, so there's sound there for the children's ministry. Okay. You have on a Thursday for Uproar, you have outside, you have, a mic and a DJ going on. So at any given moment, there's just either small sound systems or large sound systems being utilized throughout the campuses. Okay. Yeah.
Now, what about lighting? Is that how do you work with somebody with lighting? How do you train them to do lighting? Because light shows, the movement is either going to blind somebody in the front row or put somebody into seizures. So
probably done both in our time here. Sorry, HT family, for blinding you and causing you to get healing. But
Sunday, one swung, and I caught it right in the eyeball with, oh.
we have to have healing services we're a Pentecostal church.
I saw the light. I saw the light. I saw the light.
That's a good testimony time, too. I got blinded by a mover, and God healed my eyes. So yeah, with the lighting, it is, a lot of people think they can, they just push buttons or, you just turn on a light and that's it. And there's so much more to it. There's color theory.
Okay.
There's obviously what you just said is the movements of the lights and also light shows are to be dynamic, not static, which I teach that with audio too. Dynamic mixing is, guitars come in, they fade out, and keyboards come in and fade out. And so you don't just put them up. A lot of techs do that in a lot of churches, and it makes for a very boring front of house mix.
Okay.
Now with lighting, it's the same way. You just throw up one wash, leave it that way. That's a static wash.
Okay.
There's no excitement in it. There's no movement in it. And so what we're teaching, we have a pretty new person that we're teaching on our lighting system. And within that, we're teaching this person how to change for the moods of the songs and in and out, because you're setting the atmosphere through color and through lighting. The sound man's setting the atmosphere through sound, and the worship band is setting the atmosphere through their music and their worship songs, right? So you have to be working as a fluid motion between all those teams. So the sound, the lights, everything are moving in those fluid motions. So the lighting person has to be I think, number one, they have to be very anointed to be able to do that position, to be able to change things to set that atmosphere the right way. God's a very creative artist, right? I mean, look at the earth. He painted the earth. He painted the planets. He painted the galaxies. And we're using light in the same way, not even near what he can, but using them in the same way where we're painting the stage in a way that glorifies him with what we do, and then changing that as the spirit moves, the lighting moves, right? So I think that lighting person is almost as, I would say just about equal with the sound person.
Wow.
When it comes to setting atmospheres.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, for the stage.
Now, let's say, Pastor, you're watching and you don't have a professional like Pastor Kevin is. Where can you send them to get the training for the lights?
Right here.
Oh.
Yeah, we train them.
We'll train you.
We will train you. Come to our church and we would train you. There's a lot of places it's hard to find without going to like a college and a theater kind of program that really do this kind of training deeply, So I've always really had it on my heart. Hey, come here. We'll take care of you. We'll train you. We'll train your people in lighting. We'll train your people in sound. We'll train your people in video and in cameras. And I've always envisioned our church to be that training ground where people could come in, because our job is to make the church better. And that means the universal church better. And so, yeah, bring them here. We'll train you guys.
You heard that, Pastor. Pastor Kevin is willing to train you and your team. If you would like to send them to Horseheads, New York, 16 Level Acres Drive. Hotels are really close. They could fly right into ELM, and he'll take the time to sow into your team, to build them, and to train them.
Absolutely.
Now, we are on TV, so we're on ABC and CBS every week. We've been for, I think, 8 years or so. Is there a different mix for that, or which board are you using to mix that?
Yeah, that's a live stream board, and that's our TV broadcast board that we use to mix that show, and that really gets into a lot of, kind of crazy things, which is like audio levels for broadcast. So you have to know those types of things if you're going to go on television. They use a system called LUFS, right? Which is it's this whole system that they use for broadcast, and it has to be a certain negativity, negative 18 and all this stuff. So you have to watch out for that. Now, the cool thing that we do is that I just make sure on my end that the audio sounds good, and then that gets handed off, I believe, to Pastor Jacob, who edits it. Then he makes sure that those audio levels reach where they need to for broadcast.
Okay.
So on my end, it has to be clean and good. And then on his end, he takes it, color corrects, does everything, and then pushes it out to television with the correct broadcast levels.
So now we've talked about the main sound. We've talked about the live stream sound. We've talked about the broadcast sound.
Yep.
We've talked about the lights, and now you're going to introduce to us media. So we have cameras. We have an entire suite that deals with editing, and Trey deals with, he's our editor, he's working on the live stream stuff right now.
Yeah.
So why don't you take us through that portion as well?
Yeah, so that portion, some people just think they can set up a camera and shoot it, and there's a lot more, once again, to that. That is color balancing your cameras. That is obviously getting people to man your cameras. That's a good one. The correct lenses, the correct, color correction on the cameras. In the back, we have a director on Sundays getting the shots. When they see a great shot, boom, camera 2, boom, camera 3, boom, camera 1.
Do they have communications?
We do, yeah. We actually use handsets with earpieces.
Oh, cool.
And so, yeah, our director in the back is, and this is the other thing too about that. Actually, all of us can hear that going out.
Okay.
What shots are getting called, and we also use it if there's an issue. Like, we'll call up like, hey, left power light's out. Hey, Trey, can you go up? You guys, what's great about this team is a lot of times we're troubleshooting things and you don't even know what's happening. Right. Like Trey will be up there, look like he has a camera. He'll literally be changing a cable out on something to get it to work.
Oh, cool.
So we're always communicating like this light's out, or, oh, that camera looks blurry, or, okay, now we're going to camera 1, camera 3, camera 2. What's great about that is all the team knows where we're going, what's happening. We're all on the same page. We know there's an issue. We know with a camera shot, stay away from that side of the stage. The lights just went out. Hit that side of the stage with another camera. That happened at uproar. We lost all the power, so we went immediately to this camera and just shot it from across.
Okay.
It was one camera shot for a long time, but you wouldn't have really thought anything took place on the ground. And that's our job, is we're the most visible and invisible all at once.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
Say that again, because I think that's really pertinent.
We're the most visible and the most invisible all at the same time.
That's really good.
Yep.
That's really good. And I know, too, that once all of that is produced, how is it stored? I mean, when all the information is coming through the cameras, where does it go to? Does it go to a hard drive? Does it go to the cloud? Where does it go?
Yeah, there are certain people who think the cloud really exists. Like if you've ever seen those.
I did see that.
Yeah. A cloud is a server space, and it gets stored on there. And then we're able to, at any given time, pull it down, from our servers, whether that be, and by the way, YouTube is a great storage facility because you can store your HD stuff right up on YouTube. So
now, let me ask a real question. So are you recording all 3 cameras are going to be stored, or are you doing live editing on a fly?
We're doing a live editing on the fly. We're not, because the cost to be able to do storage separately every week on 3 cameras would right now just be astronomical. You have to, buy the super drives and every other thing, and then the hard drives to store them on. So we, at the moment, are just doing live on the fly shots, and then that gets stored up into our, up into the YouTube server. We used to have another company we dealt with that we would store them up, but we just found out YouTube's quality was the same, and you don't have to pay for it.
Oh,
and
good price.
Yeah, it was a great price. So we were able to minimize cost on physical media.
Okay.
By doing it this way, and streamline budget lines and everything by doing it this way as well.
Awesome.
Yep.
So gets to the cloud, and then it goes out to the editors. And so Trey does editing for like YouTube and when at times for Facebook. Mm-hmm. But then also we have the TV program that goes to Pastor Jacob. Mm-hmm. And do you guys get that information from the same location and then edit it?
Yeah, we also have Resi, which stores it as well, so we can pull it up.
What's Resi?
Resi is really a great service. It's for it's really great for churches, and since we went to Resi, it's just upped our quality. It's literally a service that allows us to stream, and it's a subscription base per month. And then what it does is you buy a box, which is a little computer, and it literally matches your audio with your video and syncs it up in high quality, high def. Puts it out there, but while it's doing that, it simultaneously stores it for us so we can pull it down from there as well.
That's pretty cool.
And edit it. Oh, yeah.
We have that?
Oh, yeah. We have.
Isn't it a good thing? You know, as a senior pastor, I don't know a lot of that stuff. I just know when you want stuff, and your team always likes stuff.
Hey.
They like stuff, but I think that my question to you would be, as the pastor over this ministry, things are changing all the time.
Whew, yeah.
How are you staying up on the changes? How are you training yourself on the changes? And then how are you implementing the changes with your team?
Well, I'm retiring, so I'm not learning anything. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. It really is. Technology is moving just so fast at any given time. So what I do personally, let's go there first. I subscribe with out of pocket to a lot of different sites that bring me up on the latest software. I subscribe to sites that teach me the latest audio techniques in production. And so it's a constant learning journey. You know, I heard Bill Hybels say this once. He said, leaders are learners. When they stop learning, they stop leading.
Oh, that's good.
So you're always on this learning journey, right? No matter what we do, and that reading leadership books, and in my field, it's always just watching these videos and just digesting consistently all the new technology, all the different things that's coming out. Every time I turn around, so in the computer world, there's this thing called plugins and audio. There's a new one coming out. I mean, it's like 2-3 times a week, a brand new one.
Really?
And so you're always really trying to keep up with that of what's happening. And when I look at something like that, I'm always looking, will this help our broadcast mix? Will this help our team? Will this help us in post-production? We were able to secure a deal with one of the big companies that actually does post-production, gave us almost $2,000 in software. So we could do post. And in that process, the other day, I think Pastor Cody came in, and I was literally sitting there with a session learning that software. So it's always this learning journey, and cameras change and upgrades happen. So I always encourage my team to be students of their department.
Okay.
So if you have that board back there, you should know more about that board if you're running it than anybody else.
Right.
That's your baby. Right. Everything that thing can do, everything that camera can do, you should know it like the manual.
Right.
And learn it. So we're always pushing our team to learn knowledge, and simultaneously pushing the heart of the ministry. So knowledge and heart. Right. They're married, you know, those two. And so on my end, and if we see videos, that's the other thing, we share them within our chats.
Okay.
Hey guys, look at this video. Hey guys, look at this. Oh, look at this church. Look at this shot they got. Oh, look at.
Do you use Discord, or do you use another one that you use to communicate with?
I'm only laughing because I got inherited the rebels of the church. They are. I liken my ministry to being the captain on a pirate ship a little bit. You know, when you come into a ministry, I have to say this to everybody. When you come into a ministry, and, you know, I'm now 6 years into this, but, you know, there's another 15 years prior of systems and people and the way things are done and all this stuff. And they have their way of doing things, and some will bend and go with whatever, and then some will be like with Discord, I'm not going on that thing. You'll never communicate with me on it. So what we were able to do is, you know, it's not the perfect scenario, but, you know, I'd rather have them on the team than rise up and cause a rebellion, you know. I always say this, choose the hill you want to die on wisely.
Right.
Like, there are just some things that hill's not worth dying on. Okay. You just don't die on that hill.
Right.
There are other things that the hill is worth dying on.
Right.
Especially with integrity and character.
Right.
Those are hills worth dying on. But on this end of things, it's like we communicate through Messenger.
Okay.
So we're always just pushing information out, Messenger. Even during Uproar, that thing was just lit up going like crazy.
Oh, I bet it was. Uproar was wild. For those who do not know what Uproar is our youth conference run by theuproar.org and Pastor Cody Spencer. And they have it here, but they also have one in Maine. And this next year, they're getting ready to do a bunch of new things. You can go on their website. It's a phenomenal free youth conference that is Holy Spirit filled and one of the only ones in the Northeast.
Mm-hmm. It was great.
So we've gone through all of that. Now, let me ask you a question. If it's a small church,
yes.
So let's say their budget for the entire year is $100,000,
mm-hmm.
and the pastor themselves are bivocational.
Mm-hmm.
How in the world can they take something simple and make it workable?
Yeah, that's actually a great question. I think the answer to that is that with technology comes decrease in prices.
Okay.
So as technology increases, right, and so you get the newest thing that you're going to pay the most for it.
Right.
But there are great cameras, there are great pieces of gear out there that can do the job just as well.
Okay.
Without having to literally sacrifice your entire budget.
Okay.
And you can streamline and you can get a great quality. And that goes back to this piece. Training your team the right way to fully utilize whatever that is. Just like an orange, squeeze every drop.
Every drop.
Because what happens a lot of times is people may only learn 25% of the gear or the plug-in and then say, well, I need to buy this next thing to make it better. No, you don't. You need to learn that thing first.
Okay.
When you fully utilize what you have, then you move on to the next thing.
Now, we bought used, right?
We've bought used and new, depending, on what it is.
Let's take one of our cameras, the one we're facing right now.
Right.
What is that camera? How much is that camera?
That is a Blackmagic Studio camera, and the body of that camera, the lenses are where the money's at.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think the bodies are like $1,200 to $2,000 on those, depending on the model you get on those. But the lenses could cost you actually more than the actual camera.
Really?
Mm-hmm. But there are affordable lenses, too. We used a lot of them for a while. We just upgraded that lens.
Okay.
And we did buy that lens used and got a great deal on it. Actually, Pastor Cody did. Got a great deal on that lens. Wow. So we were able to move, where our
camera is now,
yeah,
which is far back.
Far back, but we just can zoom way up on you, and it looks just as good as when we were up here. So there are great prices with lenses that you can get. That camera does a lot. It's HD quality for that price.
Okay.
It's mind-blowing that you can pay that price for a camera that does as much as what that one does.
Now, for the editing suite, they have a Blackmagic editing, or do you guys use Apple editing, or do you use... What do you use for editing? Yeah,
so editing, we go into a Blackmagic switcher, which all of our cameras are connected into. And then when it comes down to like editing the video, what do you use, Pastor Jacob, for editing? Do you use Final Cut Pro or Premiere? So Adobe Premiere, Final Cut Pro.
And you can get them on subscriptions, right?
Yeah, Premiere's on subscription.
So my great concern is, or where we want to help today, if you are a large church, you probably have very expensive equipment. But if you're a newer church, you're trying to start off. And many times you get scared away before you even know what is available.
That's true.
So buy used. There's nothing wrong with buying used. And you don't have to have 1,600 cameras. I do want a boom. I just want to say that out loud. But
we want a boom.
We want a boom. But, you can, let's talk about like a used sound system that could be to the quality that they could go live stream.
Yeah, so you could set up your live stream, literally. This is so easy what I'm about ready to tell you guys. So you could literally run, on our front of house, a lot of people use the X32 Behringer board, which are kind of the cheaper versions of the Midas boards that we use. But they do the same thing. They're the same functions. You can run that board into what I do, which is a Pro Tools rig.
Pro Tools rig.
Yep.
Is that what it's called?
Pro Tools, yeah. Okay. It's just software. You can run it from there into Pro Tools, and you could set up your live stream through Pro Tools. Huh. Pro Tools is subscription-based. It's only $29 a month.
Wow. Pastor, you can do this.
And you don't need to buy all the fancy plugins. It comes with a suite of plugins, and you could set up an amazing live stream sound coming from your board. Just set up a little room in the back, run your stream to that, a couple of speakers or headphones, and you could have a broadcast mixer.
If they're unable to come here, is there another location they can learn?
Right now I'm launching. I have a YouTube channel that I have started, and
That's good.
in the middle of recording, and it's called Does It Work? It's on YouTube. Right now I've been doing a lot of like plugin reviews and broadcast plugin reviews. I'm going to get into more. There's actually a section that will say tutorials, and I'll be getting into tutorials where you'll be able to watch how I actually set up my live stream. I did it on Facebook the other day. I kind of walked through my process for Uproar of like, these are what I use. This is the secret stuff I use to be able to get the drum tones and different things across the board. So there's YouTube, and YouTube has a lot of great stuff too. And there's another site that's called MXU. It's called Mix University. Okay. It's run by guys who do like sound for Chris Tomlin and all these other big mix engineers. That's a subscription based for your teams, and they do a great job of training on there. And then another guy is Jake Goslin. He does a YouTube channel, and he does all kinds of church sound stuff. Okay. So there's a lot of great resource out there for churches to be able to set this up the right way. And you can always email me or message me. I mean,
What's your email?
Always available. It's pastor.kjackson@gmail.com. Or you can message me on Facebook. Just find me on Facebook, Kevin Jackson. And I would be happy, seriously, to work with you in your church. I've done it for many churches.
Yeah. So this is important because we don't want you to disqualify yourself in this realm because, you know, I've been in a lot of churches. I traveled as an evangelist for a long time, and I've been in large churches and small churches. I've been in churches where the sound booth is literally 20 feet from the altar, and it's a mini board, and they have the speakers, you know, that are up on the pods, and that's all they have. But I want you to know that you don't have to lose quality even though you don't have a lot of finances.
That's right.
And that when you do want to go online, you can actually acquire the equipment for a low amount of money. And you'll be blown away how many people in your church would love to sow towards that. My son in Florida wanted to go. He's brand new. His church is 6 months old. Wanted to go live stream. The cameras, I'm not going to tell you how much he paid for his cameras, but they didn't even do a fundraiser. People heard about it and brought in checks and paid for, it was well over $10,000, paid for all the things that he needed to go live stream. Your people will want to sow into the ministry. So don't count yourself out. And don't just pick up a cell phone and posture it on a little tripod. You know, be willing to step out and buy some equipment that isn't expensive. Allow the people to sow into it, and you'll be able to put out a program. I know a church that is so dynamic. I mean, they are dynamic with their worship. And it caught the attention of a national group. And it was beautiful. But when they got there, they were shocked how small the actual building was. But it is a dynamic worship, dynamic church. And they're growing, praise the Lord. But this group didn't know the size of the church because of how they handled the project.
Yep.
So listen, don't cheat yourself. Don't talk yourself out of it. Give Pastor Kevin an email, send him an email or reach out, and we want to help because we want you to grow to be great.
Absolutely.
And God has a great opportunity for you in your community to spread the gospel, not only through the sound in-house, but the sound out-house, not only having video in-house, but having video out-house to be able to be a blessing to people. Absolutely. So thank you so much for watching today, and we pray you have an excellent day. And don't forget, in the month of March, we have our Empowering Pastors Conference. You want to start planning for that today. We should have in the next 2 to 3 weeks the registration available for you and your wife and your teams. And we are going to have a great time. Chris Durso is going to be with us. Ooh. Our Bishop Rick Thomas will be with us, and I'll also be taking one of the evenings. During the daytime, we're going to have our staff available to train your staff. And we know this, the pastors' wives are going to be blessed. So, Thank you so much for watching Empowering Pastors Today.
Thank you for tuning in to Empowering Pastors and Leaders with Dr. Michael Spencer. If you're looking for helpful, life-changing, and empowering resources, Dr. Michael Spencer's books are available here. Just click on the link below and get your copies today. Don't wait. These resources will bring about the change and success you've been looking for. If you'd like to know more about empowering pastors and leaders, please visit michaelspencerministries.com. Also, if you'd like to become a partner with Empowering Pastors and Leaders, sign up online for the opportunity to do so. Thank you in advance for your financial support to help us reach into the U.S., Canada, Mexico, and Africa, and the different parts of the world. Empowering Pastors and Leaders will equip you to transform your personal life, ministry, or business to become the best leader God designed for you to be. Invest in yourself today and be the most effective leader you've ever been.